A lot of people start running because they're trying to get away from something. Stress, noise, life feeling too heavy. Running feels like control when everything else spins too fast. It feels like freedom when the walls start closing in. So they run, to escape the chaos, to find peace, to feel alive again. But here's the truth most of us learn the hard way. You cannot run away from yourself. You can only run into yourself. Somewhere between the first mile and the last, you start hearing everything you tried to avoid. The thoughts, the doubts, the questions that have been waiting for silence. Running doesn't drown them out. It amplifies them, step by step. At first, you resist. You turn up the music, you check your watch, you focus on pace, splits, numbers, anything to stay distracted. But sooner or later, the noise outside fades and the noise inside gets louder. That's the real moment of truth. Because the road doesn't lie, it reflects everything you bring to it. If you're restless, it shows. If you're angry, it shows. If you're running from something, you'll meet it again, somewhere around mile 3. Every run is a mirror, and sometimes the reflection isn't pretty. You see how often you quit early, how often you talk yourself down, how much pressure you put on yourself to be more, to be better. You notice the voice that says, you should be faster, you should be stronger, you should be someone else. And suddenly you realize that voice doesn't only show up on the run. It's the same one that drives your whole life. Running just makes it visible. Out there is no mask, no audience, no filters, just you. Breathing, moving, confronting. What many people don't realize is the goal isn't to make it easier, it's to stop fighting it. The pain, the boredom, the resistance, they don't disappear. You just stop giving them control. That's when your mind finally slows down, and somehow progress begins to move faster. Because peace doesn't come from winning, it comes from surrender, not giving up, but letting go of the need to control every step. You stop running against yourself, and you start running with yourself. That's when the miles feel different, not lighter, just more honest. On many runs, there is a moment where your body wants to quit, but your mind whispers, keep going. And if you listen long enough, the mind quiets too, and something deeper takes over. You find a rhythm that isn't about effort, it's about alignment. Your breath, your heartbeat, your steps, they start speaking the same language. And for a few minutes, you're not chasing time, you're not escaping life, you're just being. That's not motivation, that's not adrenaline, that's just being present. Running doesn't give you clarity, it strips away everything that blocks it. When people say running changed my life, this is what they mean. Not the medals, not the times, not the stats. It's the quiet understanding that the person you meet out there, the one in pain, the one still moving, the one refusing to stop, that's who you really are. Not the version that performs for others, not the version that hides behind routine, but the one who simply shows up. Because every run is a dialogue between the person you were when you started and the person you'll be when you finish. And the distance between them is what we call growth. When you realize that and your run ends, nothing outside has changed, but somehow everything inside has. The same problems are waiting, the same challenges, the same noise, but you face them differently now. Because you've seen what's beneath the noise, and it's stronger than you thought. You don't run anymore to get away, you run to arrive in your breath, in your body, in your truth. Running becomes less about miles and more about meaning. Every step says, I'm still here, I'm still moving, I'm still becoming. So next time you lace up, ask yourself, what am I running from? And what am I running into? Because the more you face yourself, the less there is to fear. You realize the run was never the escape, it was the return to the quiet, to the truth, to yourself.